Brim full of Asher on a 45. Everybody needs a bosom for a pillow. Everybody needs a bosom.
Bosom.
Hi guys, and welcome to the Cutting Room Floor podcast. I'm Laura, and I like all things Marvel, murder, and marine. And joining me each week will be my co-host Brian, and co-creator of this podcast. He is awesome, and what he doesn't know isn't really worth knowing. So let's get on with the episode.
Welcome back to TCRF.
Hello.
This is the podcast where we pretty much talk about whatever, but mostly stuff that we've watched on TV and films, I guess.
Yeah.
Today is a very, very special episode because we are going to be recapping on the first episode of The Flash, which has returned.
Yay!
Which is all new and exciting. And if that wasn't headliner enough, we're also going to be talking about RELLIK, which has just finished.
Yeah!
I was going to say, did that get a bigger yeah, or is that going to get a smaller yeah? Yeah.
This is the best time of year. Like, literally, hands down, best time of year. Flash, Arrow, Criminal Minds, Supernatural.
Oh yeah, Criminal Minds is back as well. We'll talk about that. We'll briefly talk about Criminal Minds because that's gone through some transitional stuff. Supernatural, we're not up to date yet, are we?
We need to get up to... I love Supernatural.
We do need to catch up with Supernatural.
There's a new person in it and I don't know who it is.
Badly. I don't know who that is either. I don't know anything because I stopped following all the Facebooks and stuff because it's just like spoiler central. It just made me sad. Anyway, right, what do you want to talk about first? Shall we talk about...
Do you want to talk about that fun Wonder Woman thing you told me about earlier before we go into it?
Yeah, this is like a random I found out about the Wonder Woman film. The Native American on the team, only known as Chief, was the when he was introduced to Wonder Woman, he's the only hand that she shook. He's the only person that she shook hands with. Is a better way of saying that sentence. It turns out that what he said to her in the Blackfoot language was that he was secretly the trickster demigod called
Nappy or Napsy or something, didn't he?
Napty. Yeah. Ruined it by not remembering quite exactly what his name sounded like. But yes, so he's a secret trickster god.
Does that mean that she likes him then?
I think maybe she shook his hand out of respect, or maybe she doesn't know who he is, but he's a demigod and she's technically...
But he's obviously not a bad one.
No.
He's just silly.
Yeah, well, trickster gods are like notoriously not evil. They're not good or bad. They're just sort of chaotic usually.
Okay.
Goku, who's the name of the guy from Dragon Ball, but also Goku from Chinese legend is a monkey god who's a trickster, and he's had to be put into his place many a time. No one cares about any of this, but yeah. Mostly he's usually the protagonist of these stories, despite being like neutral, not good or evil. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I thought that was fun.
But then they don't mention it or anything.
It doesn't come back up again. In some fighting at the end,
he
would have been super handy.
How do you know that actually is true then?
Because he actually does speak to her in a real language. The Blackfoot language is a real language.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have subtitles, but people who know the language have translated what it says.
Okay.
And the guy who plays him, whose name I've completely forgotten, has come out and said that no, that wasn't just like an Easter egg for people who understood Blackfoot language. It was actually the intention all along to have him
as that character. So does that mean
the demigod trickster?
Does that mean he might be in more of them then?
Yeah, I don't know. Like every demigod in DC has like magical powers and is like a superhero, so or a villain. So in the same way as Marvel. So I don't know, like maybe.
So they could do that as having him as another character because he could
reappear and give sage advice. He could actually he could don a costume and become super awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go. He could literally just appear and then
or nothing
immediately.
Or nothing could ever happen with him.
Yeah.
And the only people who will know are people who speak the Blackfoot language or people like you who look on the news websites.
Too much. Yeah. Pretty much, I guess. I mean, it's probably just a sort of like sort of a non-referential thing that they'll never bring up again. But I kind of like the idea that Diana could just wander through Earth, meeting random people, and they just happen to be supernatural in some way. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a shame they never really picked it back up on it. That's a sentence. That'll work.
It was perfect.
Thanks. Yeah, that was pretty much it on the Wonder Woman thing.
Cool.
Shall we jump straight into the...
Let's do Flash.
Yeah, happy with Flash. I was going to say Flash actually.
Spoilers.
You read my mind.
Spoilers for the previous series and the first episode of
the Flash up until
season 4.
Season 4, episode 1. Yep. The preamble for this episode was the Flash is gone.
Yes.
As is tradition in these sort of shows, and a villain has emerged that maybe they need the Flash for, or maybe they just want an excuse to bring back Barry. And so what are they going to do? Initially, I was kind of hoping that they would do something with all the characters. What were you hoping for before this?
I was hoping that Barry would be away for a little bit longer.
Yeah, well...
But I'm kind of glad that he wasn't away for so long, because Iris is an absolute moron.
It's a bit mean.
God, she took his words too literally.
Just running around the city.
Like...
she's running the show.
Take a chill pill, man.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, like, I don't know. I was honestly, genuinely hoping that it would give the other characters a chance to grow a little bit. Because the thing with them, with these side cast of characters, is that for some reason they can never be as good as the main character. Like in this, it was the same thing in Smallville. All of the supporting cast, they even had Green Arrow as supporting cast in Smallville, and like there was just some unspoken rule that they could never be as good as him for some reason. And I just would like a team that was as good as him.
Well, like Kid Flash.
Yeah.
He wasn't, but I wonder if that's because he's got so skinny.
Yeah, you noticed that.
He's lost...
The lead guy's lost...
He's lost so much arm
Kid
mass.
Flash guy. Yeah.
So much arm mass.
Maybe he's actually been running. Maybe he's just done a load of cardio.
Yeah, I don't know, but he was hench season 3, and the beginning of this one, he looks like he's been
emaciated,
cutting or something. Like he was really skinny.
Yeah, fair. No, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't really notice straight away, but when you mentioned it, yeah, definitely picked up on it afterwards. But yeah.
I like Caitlin Snow's new vibe.
Oh yeah.
They're like...
Sure, yeah. Well, she disappeared after being evil for a bit at the end of the last season and decided to work at a bar. And now maybe she's got in-betweeny good and evil thing going on in her brain. That wasn't a good sentence, but...
I think... I think Caitlin Snow is now more in control than Killer Frost. But I think when she gets stressed or like angry, Killer Frost comes out, and I think she forgets everything that happens when she's Killer Frost.
Sure.
From what we got from that bit.
No, yeah, absolutely. Like,
where she was like, tell whoever that is.
Tell the guy I'm done with this stuff. I'm going to go back to saving the world as the Flash team.
Yeah. So that's obviously going to come back and bite her in the bum.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I kind of would love him to be like some kind of meta-human crime boss, but I'm not sure if they'll go that way with it.
No.
But having a subplot for her would be kind of awesome, where she's having to deal with meta-humans on her own. I think that'd be really cool. Like a bit more like gritty kind of stuff going on in the background, but I suspect it'll just be a regular guy.
Yeah. Some like drug lord or something.
Yeah, or just even a bar owner who's just a bit of a knob.
Mm.
But like, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't disappointed with this episode. Like, there was some fun stuff in it. But yes, as we expect, Cisco has a plan for returning the Flash. That's going to probably cause the main antagonist for this series, like it tends to.
Mm.
What do you reckon? It's like some kind of spear thing. He has a red ball thing, and he shoots the Speed Force bazooka at it, and then he swaps Barry for it in the Speed Force, so the Speed Force thinks the Barry's still there.
But it wasn't Cisco's plan. In that thinker or whatever we see right at the end, he planned it all along.
Yeah. I guess he that's interesting. I guess for some reason the Thinker. So at the end of the episode, we get a little teaser for the Thinker, who's like a RoboCop man. Like, I don't know. He
looks like Darius from the Dalek.
The Dalek
guy from Doctor Who.
Oh yeah. He's basically just like a
Dario.
A face in a machine. Davros.
That's it.
There you go. Yeah, he's basically just a humanoid face attached to a machine. It's sort of a RoboCop style as well, I would say. And they're just like, he sends a samurai into the city for whatever reason to try and trigger them to get to bring Barry back. Which
for what purpose?
Yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, he teases his own name at the end in classic Smallville style, where they're like, what do you want to do now? And he's like, I'm thinking. And you're like, oh my god, that's the Thinker from the comics, oh my god!
Yeah.
So I didn't know who the Thinker was. But I did some cursory research, as we do on this show. We like to cursory research. And there are 4 potential Thinkers. One of them it's probably not going to be because he wasn't in the same brackets as the other 3. So we have 2 Cliffs and an artificial intelligence, who I reckon are going to be the potential ones that he is. He could be an artificial intelligence, even though he's got a sort of humanoid face. It could just be like a plastic face, I don't know. But they all sort of stem from the original Cliff, who's the Thinker.
Okay.
Who basically built loads of gadgets and created himself a thinking cap, which is literally a thing he put on his head and made him super smart. And also,
maybe that's what he was wearing.
Psychic powers.
Because he did have like a little.
Yeah, but he sort of was also the back of his head.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's a bit more like androidy. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
then maybe he is artificial intelligence.
He could be the artificial. He could be just a complete robot. That's one of my theories. Another theory is that he's the first Thinker, which would make more sense.
Yeah.
But also, the other Thinkers are all built off of the original thinking cap design.
Yeah.
So
are the Thinkers all villains?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And what do they do? What's their purpose?
Just annoying, smart, but also psychic powers, basically. Like, they can move things with their mind.
Oh, okay.
Stuff like that.
So what do you reckon their goal, why do they want to get the flashback so they can destroy him or something?
Well, in the comics, because of course they're massively different. But in the comics, he's just an annoying villain. He's not even like a big villain, really. He does some. He's come back in a recent story arc for Suicide Squad, which I've not read in the comics. But he's like, I don't know. He's never really like a grand mastermind behind a giant plan to take out the Flash.
Okay,
I don't know, it's weird.
So maybe there'll be more villains like
maybe
later on.
Yeah, or they're like just using him differently, and he is going to be the mastermind. I don't know. But I presume that the Speed Force bazooka thing they did to bring Barry back will just screw over.
Yeah, that's gonna. Also, I think Barry coming back is gonna. Oh, excuse me.
Bless you.
I think Barry coming back is gonna bite them in the bum, because when he comes back, he's all saying weird stuff.
Yeah. So
he's like not making.
It's not perfect.
He's not making like real sentences, and he's like saying random things, and then he's drawing all these weird symbols.
Yeah.
And
what do you think that's about?
Well, I wonder if he's like maybe like short circuiting or stuff, because he's seen the Speed Force and now he's back in like real time, and I wonder if he's maybe like seen things in the future, because he was saying things like you shouldn't be here, like, and
I wondered about that. Like a lot of the things he was saying to specific characters, and like they didn't make sense, but I think you're right. I think they are little glimpses of the future.
It's either the future or the past.
I think it might. I think what'll happen is he'll say one of those things to one of them, and one of them will go, "Wait a second, when you were crazy, you said that," and then they'll go like,
and I don't know what the symbols mean, but whether they're something to do with the Thinker, like, I don't know.
That's a good point. Like the Thinker doesn't seem like a big enough villain at this point, even though he can create samurai robots that look cool and have jetpacks. I don't know. Did you like the action in this one? There was
some really bad CGI, and I know it's TV.
All the CGI is bad.
It's not going to be. But I thought last series they did it quite well, but this one didn't seem, when he was running along those wind turbines.
When he's running around with the wind turbines, it looked
it looked really bad.
But I don't know. Yeah, I think it's all been pretty terrible, in fairness. But like, particularly like Gorilla Grodd City from season 3.
Oh, see, I thought that was quite good.
I thought it looked kind of bad. But no, yeah, fair enough. It's definitely some of the worst we've seen yet, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, for the non-visual members of the audience, my leg has just died, so I'm now awkwardly trying to reposition myself. This makes great content.
Yeah.
What else happened? Oh yeah, Iris just kind of, she's just a meh
Iris,
character.
I just don't.
I prefer Joe. I think Joe's great.
Oh, I love Joe.
But I guess there is an inherent sort of, I think I may have said this before, but there's an inherent wetness to being the love interest of a superhero. I just think your character has to be a specific type of character in order for it to work, and that just makes you kind of bleh.
Mary Jane.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. What do you reckon? You excited for this series?
Yeah.
I think
I'm intrigued.
It probably wasn't one of the strongest openings we've seen, but it was solid, and I'm looking forward to the next, what is it, 21 weeks? Props. I don't know how long the season's going to be, but it's probably about that, Or am I thinking of like other series?
I don't know. It's probably going to be about 22, 24 episodes. Most of them usually are.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I like The Flash. I think it's a pretty solid show in general. we started our podcast on the end of season 3, so this is like.
Did we?
Yeah, so we come full circle. We had our DC special first ever episode.
That's cute.
Yeah, when Savitar and all that.
Oh yeah.
That was good. I liked the plot, although it was
when
a bit
HR died, that was so sad.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Are we gonna watch Arrow?
We will watch Arrow at some point.
Yeah.
We'll do a roundup of every season as we watch it. So we'll watch the end of this one and then watch the end of the next one. I think actually we're only half a season behind.
Yeah.
But we'll do like a catch up, even though people will have already been on like season 20 by then. And we'll eventually watch Supernatural as well.
Yes, please.
And probably we should watch the other DC shows as well, maybe.
No, don't want to watch Supergirl.
I don't mind Supergirl.
No.
Legends of Tomorrow, apparently season 2 is way better than season 1.
Oh, really?
So we should probably get back into that.
Yeah.
I guess.
Maybe.
I don't. Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's about it. On that, shall we talk about Criminal Minds? Let's do like the shorter things to talk about first, and then we'll dive in with Relic and do a big long segment.
Okay.
Segments. I still want segments.
Okay.
Just saying. Because we can have one called Honourable Mentions or something, and
right.
I could do like sound bites.
We'll think about it.
All right.
I love Criminal Minds. You're not so keen, and you super annoyed me when we start, because I'd already watched the first episode, and I was like, "Oh, you should watch this."
To catch up.
And then within about 30 seconds, you had worked out the whole plot of the episode, and that annoyed me. I just like how easy they are to watch. You know the exact formula of them. You know, there's going to be a murder. They're going to try and catch the murderer. There's going to be a couple more murders. Then they're going to catch the murderer, and it's fine. It's great.
I don't have a problem with the serialness of the show. My problem is when they try and do stuff in like a big overarching story, most of those tend to be a bit crap. Or they fall apart if you think about them for more than 5 minutes. And I just...
Scratch has been pretty good though, hasn't it? Don't you think?
Like, sort of, but only until you realise that the only reason he still exists as a character is because they had to fire Hotch's character. What's his name? Gibson.
No, yeah.
I don't remember the actor's name. But the only reason he's still around is because the Hotch, anyone who doesn't know, season 12, midway through early on in season 12, the guy who played Hotch kicked a producer or something, and then immediately was fired, and then
as he should have been, because
quite
you
rightly.
shouldn't be nasty.
Well, I mean,
physical violence isn't good.
If you kicked any person that you worked with in another job, you would immediately get fired. In an office job, you would immediately get fired.
Yeah.
So these the people need to, and actors are just people who do office jobs that are different.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, absolutely shocking. But then they had to basically rewrite this entire season. Scratch is a villain who they had in the previous season who mind controls people with drugs, basically, to get them to do what he wants. And they had to have him stick around for the whole of the season to be like, oh, Hotch has gone into witness protection because Scratch is after him, and all that. But like, I don't know, the beginning of this one, it was fine as an episode. I just felt I couldn't stop thinking about the fact that this whole episode was basically because of Hotch.
Yeah.
The guy playing Hotch, yeah, screwing the pooch. But like, I didn't hate it. Like, I love Prentice's character. I'm glad that she's back in
Emily Prentice.
She she's really good.
What do you think?
Stuff.
What do you feel about that Simmons guy from?
Oh yeah. So,
we go on.
Oh no.
So there was a spin-off series called
Beyond Borders.
Criminal Minds Beyond Borders. So that was international rescue based, and there's a character in there called Simmons, and
played by a guy who I think used to be a Power Ranger, but I can't be sure. He looks like an actor who I used to watch.
Was a Power Ranger.
Power Rangers, yeah.
I feel like he was a Power Ranger.
He looks like the type of guy.
Yeah. And so they cancelled Beyond Borders after the second
2 seasons, yeah.
But they didn't finish it all the way through, did they?
No.
They finished it halfway
really
through
short.
the second season.
Yeah.
But the Simmons guy is now part of the real Criminal Minds team.
Yeah, the real ones. Those ones were fake and terrible. I didn't hate Criminal Minds Beyond Borders, but they were a bit, I feel like they didn't do the research on some of the places they visited. I felt a bit racist at times.
Yeah.
And
it was all a bit glamorised, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, it's basically CSIs and whatever, but
yeah.
But like, it wasn't bad. I like Gary Sinise, who's actually a CSI veteran, isn't he? So
he is
from CSI New York. Who was the lead in Beyond Borders?
What I want is a Criminal Minds NCIS crossover. That would be the greatest. Can you imagine
That'd be so
Gibbs?
I don't even know who's left in the show. I think
Gibbs is still
Gibbs
there.
is still there.
He's gonna die there, isn't he?
But Donoso isn't there anymore.
What about Proby?
I don't know if he's there. I've
What?
forgotten his name. Yeah, they just call him Proby all the time, and I can't remember his actual name. NCIS is great. You should watch it if you haven't seen it. It's a serial, but it's got a lot of heart, and it's just really fun. David McCallum as well, super famous.
Ducky.
Yeah, he's a famous older actor. He's in stuff like... I think he might have been in the Avengers British TV series, which wasn't about the Avengers. It was just a team of people who had sort of superpowers, but not.
No, they were spies, weren't they?
They were super spies. They had superpowers, I thought.
No,
She was super strong.
No, they were
just super spies.
They were just super spies.
Sure.
Yeah.
That was good. My granddad used to watch a ton of
my
that.
dad loves the Avengers.
I quite like it as well, if I'm honest. Don't watch that. You don't. It's really old. It's really, really old. No, yeah. We watched the first 2. There are 3 out, aren't there? And another thing about Criminal Minds, the first episode, is they felt like they were refreshing the cast again. Like, I don't know, it was very apparent to me when they killed off Stephen, spoiler alert, and they after only being in it for like 1 season, possibly.
Yeah. If that.
Yeah, and I don't know. We'll see how it progresses. Sometimes I get carried away by knowing what's happening in the background of a show, and it affects the way I watch it, I guess.
Yeah.
But I generally really like Criminal Minds. It was one of my favourite shows. Me and my mum used to watch it.
You're the reason that I got into Criminal Minds.
All the time. We powered through as well.
When we first got together, you were like, "Oh, you need to watch this show." So I had to catch up with 3 seasons.
I think there was more than that at the time.
I did that. Supernatural. And
I made you watch all the shit TV that you now love.
And there was one more that you were like, "Oh, you should watch this." And I can't remember what it was. But yeah.
Superhero stuff, was it?
No, superhero stuff hadn't come out yet.
Just Smallville.
I'd never watched that. Buffy, I think you made me watch some of, but then I never got into that as much.
Oh man, I love Buffy.
But yeah, Buffy Criminal Minds is all your fault.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, it starts off really, really strong, and all the characters are really good.
Yeah.
But I guess it's had lots of shuffling since.
I think season 3, season 4 is like the strongest. Yeah.
Peak Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
I always think...
They're the ones I can like rewatch like all the time.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I always think that Mandy Patinkin is in more than he is.
Oh.
Because he's only in the first 2 seasons, but I always remember him as being in loads.
Didn't he come back?
No, he never came back. But they had his character die in season 10.
That was it.
Which is
he got killed, didn't he? Murdered.
Which is, I would have been fine if they just never referenced him ever again. They didn't have to weirdly shoehorn him in, but then not even show a body because
he obviously wasn't there.
He didn't want to be there. I don't know. But you know, he had success with stuff like Homeland and stuff, which we haven't seen, but he's in that, so I think he's great and stuff. Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
I've never seen The Princess Bride.
Hello,
Oops.
my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
I've still never seen it.
The man with 2 fingers.
Yeah, but I've still never seen it.
I know. we're gonna get you to watch it. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love that Columbo is in it.
Ooh.
You're gonna love it.
Okay.
All right. Well, that was a bit of a tangent, I guess. Anything else you want to talk about Criminal Minds wise? I don't know.
No, I'm good.
That's pretty much it. All right then. Let's move on to drum roll, please. RELLIK, the main event for today's show. Firstly, the premise of the series. Go. Why is it different?
So, RELLIK is about a serial killer who burns their victims with hydrochloric acid. But the way the story unfolds is in reverse. So, episode 1 is the policeman played by Beric Dondarrion. What's his name?
Don't remember.
He finds a suspect and ends up shooting him in the line of duty or whatever, or he is shot in the line of duty, and then it works backwards from there. So you get
as the
filled
series
in
progresses
with you learn more and more information, but you go backwards. And so at the end of the penultimate episode, the 5th episode, you find out who the killer is.
But it's chronologically going backwards from the end of where they've caught someone and shot him.
Yeah, so
and then it's working backwards through the investigation.
So the end of the 5th episode is the killer committing their first murder.
Yeah.
And then the 6th episode then goes back to real time.
Yeah, so the very last episode is real time.
Is real time
after the events of everything that's happened.
Yeah. And I thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it was so good. The fact that they had little bits in there that actually were just there to throw you off.
Yeah,
so
sure.
You
midway through, you with the first episode, you're already on the back foot. You're thinking, what's interesting about this series if we already know who the killer is?
Yeah.
But then you're introduced to 2 people who have their own stories. One of them is a man with a wife and a daughter, and another one is a shrink. And you're just like, how do these guys factor in with everything that's going on? And and it ties all the stories really well together. Like, it's really, really good.
So up until episode 4, I think you think it's that woman who's been burnt with hydrochloric acid
herself. Yeah.
So that's what you think up until episode 4, and then 5 comes along, and in episode 4 you find out that the detective who is helping, what is his name? Gabriel.
Yeah, the lead character.
You
Gabriel.
find out that she's talking to somebody who isn't there.
Yeah.
And then you're like, whoa, what's going on there? And then through into episode 5, you then find out more about her backstory.
Yeah.
Her father killed her mum.
Yeah.
While she was watching. And then you get to the end of that episode and you're like, oh my god, she's the killer.
Yeah.
But then it only takes you until the end of episode 6 to then realise, well, why is she doing it?
Yeah.
Because she's a nutcase. And because she feels hard done by.
Yeah.
By what happened to her in her life and her dad killing her mum.
Yeah. The episode, this series opens on some lines that are like Gabriel says to her while he's driving around. He says, if you go back far enough, then you can figure out why everyone does what they do. And they bring it full circle in the last episode, and it plays through. There's a bit sort of in the middle of the episode where it plays back that line and from the first episode, and then it plays through a lot of the events that have happened in sequence, and then everything sort of comes together. And
you hear things from previous episodes, and you're like, oh, that's what that meant. Like there's a sort of throwaway comment. The one that I can think of is Gabriel and his boss. And it's like, oh, I did this for you. And then you find out in episode 6, it was because of, like, Gabriel killed the person
who was attacking
attacking, and
so, yeah.
The other guy, Ben, covered for him.
Yeah, so there's a lot of plot to get through. So, just the abridged version, I guess. So when this lady who witnessed her dad kill her mum, I think Helena, but her name is actually Elena. Yeah.
So no, her real name is Helena.
Yeah.
But she calls herself Elaine.
I think it's Elena.
Elaine.
Okay. Yeah. And in the first time, no, I've lost the train of what I'm thinking of.
So she witnesses her dad kill her mum.
Yeah.
Because of that, she is sent to
a psychiatric
ward. Hospital.
Yeah.
Or unit. At which point she is raped by fellow
inmates,
yeah,
or like someone. It's unclear who's touching her up, but the
psychiatrists who run the centre know about it,
tell her that she's lying and that she's making it up,
and like they're gonna make her forget about it.
Yeah, with electroshock therapy, which is no longer legal therapy.
Gabriel is a beat cop at this point,
who's been called in to this unit, to the psychiatric unit.
Yeah, and he obviously finds out about it and breaks up whatever is going on.
He doesn't find out about it. He literally walks in on them as this guy is doing something to this girl, this little girl.
At that point, then kills the man who is raping her. Then
accidentally, sort of like, we should point that out.
Yes, does he hit his head on a radiator or something?
Yeah, he sort of pulls him off, and then he hits him because he's like disgusted. He has no idea what the hell is going on. And then the inmate, I think it's an inmate, it looks like an inmate, hits his head on a radiator and is dead.
It then jumps to 21 years later. Gabriel has been dealing with some stuff, goes a little bit off the wall.
Yeah.
His wife gets pregnant by
someone else.
the Ben guy, who is his boss.
Yeah, Ray Stevenson's character.
She doesn't tell him, and lets him raise the daughter as his own daughter.
Yeah. See, I couldn't work out if he, at the point that he accidentally killed the guy, went insane and he was already with her, and then that's when he got put into the unit, and then
no, I don't think he ever gets he never gets put in the unit. He just goes a little bit off the rails.
Sure.
Because he killed that guy.
Sure.
And I think he starts drinking and drugging and all that sort of thing. So then she falls back on...
Drugging, the technical term. Sorry.
She then falls back on the other guy.
Ray Stevens'
character.
Everyone's shagging everyone in this, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Ray Stevens, they have a safe house where they bring women to have sex with.
Yeah.
And they Gabriel and his boss... Ray Stevens' character Ben, did you say his name was? I don't remember.
That is his first name, yeah, but
so Gabriel and Ben just bring separate women to the safe house at separate times to shag. It's just really just grim. And so then the acid killer strikes. This is kind of long-winded.
No, before that, the woman Elaine comes in,
joins the police force as Helena.
Gabriel is a bit Jack the Lad, thinks he can pull everybody, and they start having an affair.
Yeah.
Then at some point in that period, Elaine is driving and catches sight of
one of her old shrinks,
which I guess
she has a mental break.
And then that's when
it triggers her, and then she finds him and kills him, and that's the first murder.
And then all the murders are related to people, I guess.
Yeah. Except for the man and his wife and his daughter. So there's an interesting side plot. There was a man who was shagging his daughter. Stepdaughter, not his actual daughter.
I know it doesn't make any difference, but
still a bit dodge. But and he, they conspired. Him and his stepdaughter conspired to kill his wife.
No.
Oh, it was an accident.
But he then gets rid of the body.
But then they conspired to make it look like the acid killer.
Yes.
And so that was kind of interesting, I thought.
So that was a
little spanner in the works. Trying to work out what the hell is going on.
And then she then, I think, if I've got this right, because going backwards it then...
Yeah.
I think Gabriel then tells her... So she falls in love with Gabriel.
Yeah, like full on. I think it's possible as well that she fell in love with him and knew who he was when he saved her from the man by killing him.
Yeah.
Which then also might have helped her childish mind think that killing as a means of saving people or killing people is fine.
Yeah.
Like, it really probably reduced heavily quite a lot the value of human life.
So halfway through, he gets attacked by the acid killer.
Yeah.
And I think that is the point where he told Elaine that it was just about sex.
Yeah.
He did, and I think that's why she threw acid on him.
Yeah.
Because I think in her mind that would make him stay with her.
Yeah, so that's right. So
and because they were obviously having problems in their marriage anyway,
she was hoping that maybe if
No, they weren't having problems.
They were trying to solve. They were putting themselves back together. At this point.
The problem started after he got attacked, because that's the point where she told him that the daughter wasn't his.
Yeah, I guess. Although I presume the problems existed before that with him having affairs and stuff, because that was a thing that she brought up a number of times.
Yeah.
And basically he got acid on him, the main guy.
So he then got attacked by acid, and she carried on killing people, and then they killed the wrong man.
Yeah. So
she was trying to frame him for the murders.
Yeah, very much. He was a bit mental.
He's schizophrenic, wasn't he?
Yeah, and she basically kidnapped him and then also tried to get him to kill on her command, by the look of the video that they found later on. That didn't work out. So then, she framed. But the frame still worked out. So she still managed to sort of convince everyone that it was him that did it.
For a bit.
For a bit, yeah. And actually, she revealed herself. In fairness, she had to get rid of the laptop, which had evidence of her on it.
Yeah.
And because of that, she used her authority in the police department to take it from evidence.
Yeah.
Which instantly invalidated her credentials, I guess.
Yeah.
Credibility, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, really good.
Trying
really
to then work out what bits
in the right order.
That
was the first time we've done that, pieced it together from the beginning.
Yeah.
But that makes sense to my brain.
And then so then the last episode is Gabriel and Elaine are cat and mousing for a bit.
Yeah.
They end up back in the care home, whatever, that she started in.
Yeah, psychiatric unit.
And she decides that she's going to kill them both.
Yeah.
Because she covers herself in petrol.
Some kind of
and then sets the building alight. But Gabriel decides that he wants to save them both. So you just see them walking out covered in flames.
Yeah, he grabs her and then runs out. But yeah, they're both just...
So then two things. You don't know if she survives.
We have no idea, that's true.
That was left. But you know that he survives and he's all burnt up again.
Yeah.
And that's the end.
Pretty much.
And it was great. And I loved it. And I want more shows like that. Shows about serial killers.
Yeah. Those are the ones that work.
We'll be talking about The Snowman next week. Because we're going to go see that at the weekend.
Yep. Michael Fassbender.
More films about serial killers. Yay!
Bending all the fasces.
Love a good serial killer.
I do too. And I really like Michael Fassbender as well. I think it's great stuff. Yes. Look forward to that. And also, we got something a little different lined up for our 20th episode, which is also going to be our Halloween episode.
Yeah.
Ooh. I don't know what that was. That was a real ghost.
Ooh.
We're going to do a film commentary of some 80s, 90s horror film that's probably quite cheesy by modern standards.
Yeah, because that's all Laura can cope with.
That's all Laura can cope. We're going to do an audio commentary, and we're going to try it. So yeah, if you guys have any suggestions for that, email us or tweet us. You can email us at crfloorpod@gmail.com. Couldn't remember that for a second. Or we're also crfloorpod at crfloorpod on Twitter. So email us in with suggestions on what you want us to watch. Not too scary. Not scary.
Not too scary.
I've seen quite a lot of them. Laura hasn't seen any of them hardly, so we're kind of excited to
do that.
To do that, yeah. I guess that about wraps it up for this episode. As always, you can find us on Twitter at that place that I just said, facebook.com/TCRFpod. We're also there. Patreon.com/TCRFpod. If you're interested in supporting the show, there's some fun tiers on there.
Yeah.
You can help us. Come be our buddy. And
Thanks, 10 years gone.
oh yeah, you said that with such impatience. 10 years gone.
No.
I guess we should thank him as well.
No, I'm thanking him.
Yes.
But I didn't want you to forget him.
Oh, I could never
because
forget
he's
10
got
years
such
gone.
a beautiful beard.
He does. Probably. I mean, I haven't actually seen him in the flesh in a while, but...
Oh, does it upset you that you haven't seen him for so long?
It does.
Do you wanna declare your love over the airwaves?
I miss you.
Ah, that's cute.
That was just for you, so you can like cut that out of this recording, save it on a little thing, and just play
Oh my
it
god,
back.
he's gonna end up making some music track with you just going, I miss you.
That's true. It's going to be his best track as well.
It's going to get to number one,
Yeah.
no doubt.
It better say featuring me as well,
Yeah.
otherwise I won't be happy. So, 10 years gone, that person we just rambled on about for 5 minutes is the guy who did our opening intro, who's also updating it and tweaking it, so you'll get to hear a new one soon. That'll be exciting, our musical intro. He also is on Twitter at I am 10 years gone. On his Twitter you can find links to his Spotify and his Apple Music stores where he sells his music, which he's got a couple of tracks on there you're welcome to buy if you're into it. Have a listen, see what you like.
He's good.
He is good. He also has, they're free to listen to on YouTube, his YouTube channel. Again, everything is linked on his Twitter profile at I am 10 years gone. Right,
Bye.
that about sums it up.
Bye.
Remix.